These are the tales from South Florida for you. With your host, Bill Monty.
Hello and welcome to a special episode of Tales from South Florida. First off, if you are new to the podcast, welcome. Thank you. I know you have a lot of options when it comes to choosing podcasts to listen to, and I really appreciate that you took a moment to press the play button on Tales from South Florida. Second, if you're a long-time listener, then you're going to find this episode really kind of different than some of the things we've done before. We're a little off format for this one. I'm going to explain why, but I also want to do a shout out to you. You've been supporting us for a long time, and I appreciate that you've been there for us and that you continue to be there for us and that you communicate with me and let you know how you're liking the show. It just means so much. Again, visit talesfromsouthflorida.com if you'd like to leave a comment or review, or you can do that on the platform that you're listening to this to. Give us a rating. We really do appreciate it. So for today, you might have noticed back on August 4th, if you live here in the South Florida area, WPLG, which has been the ABC affiliate for as many years as I can remember, and I'm old, they were no longer the ABC affiliate. As of August 4th, they became just Local 10. Now that sounds kind of depressing and simplifying it to saying just Local 10. But how did we get here? What happened? How do we get from a long-time TV affiliate station, channel, that we've all grown to know and to trust? How is it that they're no longer the ABC affiliate? Well, that's a story that's been circulating a lot in the news. Certainly was happening a lot prior to that split happening on August 4th. And after it happened, what I saw a lot of on social media and even in talking with friends was that people didn't know how to find either the new ABC station or Local 10. So I reached out to them and said, would you like to come on to my podcast, Tales from South Florida, and talk to the South Florida audience and explain exactly what happened? They were nice enough to connect me with their director. Let me get this right. The Director of Community Relations, a lovely, lovely woman who's also an on-air reporter. Her name is Mayte Padron, and she came on and spoke with me about what happened. This is great behind-the-scenes kind of look, too. If you've ever wondered how these things happen, how things work behind the scenes in looking at a local TV station. So as you know, if you've been watching Local 10, it's been really exciting. They've certainly upped the ante on the news coverage. They're up to, well, I'm not going to spoil that. I'm going to let Mayte tell you all about that when we're talking to her. But it's really interesting view of what's going on behind. So I hope that you're going to like this. I hope you enjoyed our previous series that just ended, The Gilded Age of South Florida. One of my favorites that we did. I like history, and I think South Florida history is really great. And I think you're going to find also that if you're watching Local 10, that they're also delving kind of into our past history. Just as a quick reminder, I did mention it there to the people at Channel 10. Really appreciate what you did. And if you're looking for a local guy that does South Florida history and talks about, things that went on like the Hollywood Sportatorium and Pirates World and all the great concerts and the delis and everything else, well, I am your guy. So keep me in mind. Write it down on a piece of paper. talesfromsouthflorida@gmail.com. But without further ado, my friends, I would like to introduce you to a delightful woman who works for a delightful company, Mayte Padron. I am so thrilled to welcome to Tales from South Florida from WPLG Local 10, the Director of Community Relations, Mayte Padron, who's going to be telling us a lot about what has happened with Local 10, all the great news. And for those of you who have had questions about the transition from it being an ABC affiliate to being more of a local focus, we're going to be talking about that for you today on Tales from South Florida. So Mayte, welcome.
Thank you so much, Bill. It's wonderful to be here and be able to speak to your wonderful listeners and be able to share the information of Local 10.
So how long, let's just start at as they say, start at the very beginning, like the old Sound of Music song. How long was WPLG affiliated with ABC?
WPLG was affiliated with ABC for 69 years.
Wow. This was a long-term relationship. Now, you see, I'm old enough to remember, you're not, but I'm old enough to remember when during Richard Nixon's presidency, um, he actually made a threat against WPLG, which was trying to renew its license.
Yes.
He had a beef, obviously, with the Washington Post, which was owned by Katharine Graham, and Katharine
Yep.
Graham's also owned this television station, along with another one in Jacksonville.
Yes.
WPLG, actually, the PLG it's her husband's initials.
Yes, Philip L. Graham.
Philip L. Graham, right? Everything that kind of happened as of August 4th, you're no longer an ABC affiliate. So kind of take us on that journey. How did we get to August 4th?
That is correct. Since August 4th is what we call here at Local 10 our Independence Day.
Yay, yeah.
And we got to August 4th because every so often, obviously, we have to enter into contract negotiations with, in this case, our affiliation, which was ABC. And we just could not agree on certain things. So that led to us parting ways with the ABC affiliation. And when that happened, we had just a matter of months, really, to get everything together, to plan our programming. But we knew from out of the gate that have always been very local driven and focused, committed to our viewers, committed to sound reporting, comprehensive reporting, truth telling, and good storytelling. So we knew that we wanted to live up to our name and our brand, Local 10. So we went from being the ABC affiliate to now having 93 hours of news. And when I say 93 hours of news, that's just not the typical news all the time, every hour. We also have wonderful programs such as Local 10 World News, which is now at 6:30 in the evening, taking the place of World News. We have, and aside from that, the fan favorites like Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, Live with Kelly and Mark, that all remain there. And again, committed to our community with hyper-focused. The amount of staff that we have that we hired in a time when many people in the industry of broadcast journalism industry are laying people off, are cutting back on staffing. We actually increased our staffing, more than 50 new employees. So I say that we are unmatched, unparalleled when it comes to news gathering here in South Florida because we have the people and the staff to do it.
That's one of the astounding things to hear is that you would think that with news like this, everyone would be kind of looking over their shoulder going, well, there's going to be cutbacks. We're no longer the big ABC affiliate or network affiliate. But not only did that not happen, I'm assuming, but from what you're saying, you actually hired on more people. That's astounding in this day and age.
Absolutely. I also, Bill, want to make clear the difference between a O&O and an affiliate station. So people understand as well, Local 10 was never an O&O, meaning owned and operated by ABC. ABC did not own us, did not operate. It was not involved in our news gathering, in what we covered here locally, from all the way to Key West to North Fort Lauderdale. We were an affiliate, which means that we carried ABC programming, but ABC again did not own us. As you mentioned before, our whole history and heritage being WPLG, Philip L. Graham. We were owned at one point by Post Newsweek, the Washington Post, Newsweek magazine, and then 2014 that ownership changed to Berkshire Hathaway. So we are a Berkshire Hathaway station. Actually, we are truly the one and only, which is not only the model that we've embraced and lived by for so many years, but truly the one and only in the sense that Berkshire Hathaway, and at the helm of Berkshire Hathaway is Warren Buffett. We are the one and only television news station that they own. So they take pride in having us as part of their repertoire of many companies in which they invest. And I say that because since we were not owned and operated by ABC, we're not that little guy that, oh my goodness, what happened to you now? We are a powerhouse news station owned and operated by the wealthiest company in the country, by one of the wealthiest men in the world. So we are poised for greatness at all times, and it includes this time of transition. We were ready, and we are ready now to really pave the way for other stations.
So not being an O&O, is that why you're able to hold on to Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy? Which just let me say, I don't know if you know this or not, but when you hit a certain age, I think in Florida, there's actually a law that you must watch Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy every
Yes.
single day. One day it just happened to me and my wife. We hadn't ever watched it regularly, and we just started watching it. So is that why WPLG was able to hold on to that and live with Kelly and Mark? Because
Yes.
those were not ABC.
They are separate. They are done in separate contracts. We have separate contracts with those shows, and all three of them, as I mentioned and you mentioned. And can I tell you how wonderful that is? Because they are viewer favorites. We have an incredible and loyal audience to those three shows, as well as an incredible and loyal audience to WPLG Local 10. We always knew that. We are very much in the pulse of our community, and myself, especially as the director of community relations for the station, that is my job, just to interact with our community and be there. But we really learned how fierce the loyalty of our viewers is when we made the transition and they called on us, and we had everything set up to be able to answer those viewer questions, and they wanted to find us. Where are you? Which, by the way, we are here. We are over the air on channel 10, 10.1, and I'm sure you were meaning to address that. On cable channels, we are where you've always seen us. And then we just guided the viewers through, if they were not able to see us somewhere, how they were able to see us. And it could be anything from whether they were over the air or on cable, or whether they were in streaming, or whether simply they did not rescan their television sets, because part of the change also meant a change in the frequency. So viewers had to rescan their television sets if they were watching us over the air, so that they could continue to watch us, but on the same thing, on channel 10, 10.1. So that was the whole part of the process. And then during that process, and receiving those phone calls and speaking with our viewers, we truly learned, and I think had a deeper appreciation for their commitment, their just their devotion to our station, and the people that they see and invite into their homes on a daily basis.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. Now, when I first heard the switch was going to happen, I obviously, depending on where I am in my house, we cut the cable years ago.
Right.
So we stream everything, and we have antennas placed everywhere on all different TVs. But depending on where I am, sometimes a station does not come in as well. And I found that for all of our TVs and locations, Channel 10 was always the one that was solid in
Right.
terms of coming in. So I really got used to waking up with, well, not actually waking up with them, but being able to wake up and turn the TV on and see Alex Finney and Andrew
Right.
Perez, and
Yeah.
at nighttime watching Calvin Hughes and Nicole Perez. And so that's, when I heard the change was happening, I'm like, is this going to mean a cutback in that staff? These are my favorites, Julie Durda and Betty Davis, and all of these people, are they going to be there? And so it was really nice to find out that on August 4th, and then August 5th, and then August 6th, because you kind of keep thinking, how's this going to go? Is it just a delay reaction? But not only going as strong as ever, but better than ever with the
Absolutely.
programming and everything. So going back real fast, we are talking about one of the things that did save us on stormy days. Sometimes the antenna's not great. The app.
So if you're not able to see us because you rely on streaming, it's really the way that you watch television. We have our own Local 10 Plus app, which you can download, and you can watch us through that app. And as a matter of fact, it's beautiful. The picture is beautiful. I think that just our graphics, our colors, they're so bright and beautiful. And that app, the Local 10 Plus app, it really brings that even more to life. So if you are a listener and you're not able to see us via antenna, or you don't have cable, you cut the cord and you really relied on streaming services to catch us, I invite you, actually, I encourage you to download the Local 10 Plus app, and you can watch us there, and you will be glad that you did, and you will see what an amazing product. And I'm I work here. Of course, I'm biased, Bill. I'm going to say that we have an amazing product, but I'm also a very truthful person, and I mean it. It looks good. You can truly see the creativity coming forth, both from the people behind the scenes, our creative services department, our engineering department, which are heroes, and what they did to just, I mean, make all of this happen. Every single department in this station, and you can truly see that on the air. You can see the chemistry between our anchors, whether they're long time here anchor and people that you've watched for many years, to even the new ones. We have really made a dedicated, focused effort to bring South Florida, our home, where we live, where we do business, the very best news product we can. And I think that I know that shows on a daily basis, and that's why I invite you. However, we have the Local 10 Plus app. Download that and you will see what I mean.
And so that means also, I'm assuming, I haven't done this because I'm not someone who watches programming like that on my phone. But if you have the app, I'm assuming you can watch even on the go on your device,
You can watch
on
on
your
the go.
phone.
Absolutely. You can also have local10.com, and you can watch us that way. You can see our postings that we do. You can stream it. You can see our live newscast that way as well. There are numerous things that you can do, and you will catch us at all times, and anywhere, wherever you're at. So you can, yes, local10.com is also a very good avenue for you to catch us and catch the daily stories when we're not on the air even, and you just want to know what's happening. You can catch us on local10.com on your mobile devices.
Excellent. And I want to point out too, one of the things that I really liked with everything that happened and what's new now in the programming, and you touched on a little bit before, and nothing against ABC or CBS, any places that do, that 6:30 national news thing.
Mhm.
But I love what you guys do with Louis Gary
Yes.
and him doing that. So it's the national news. It's everything that you're hearing about on those other stations, but it is done with someone that you know and trust. Now, I'm old enough to remember a man named Ralph Rennick.
Oh, yeah.
And, that we were a Ralph Rennick house. We were a Ralph Rennick, Walter Cronkite household. It gave me that same kind of feeling. With Ralph Rennick, you kind of always knew you were getting the straight story. It was someone you trusted. And that's sort of the same thing here that I feel like when I see Louis Gary is giving me the national news. So, bravo on that, because that was just a prime move.
Yeah, I can tell you, Louis would be both humbled and honored that you mentioned him in the same breath as a Walter Cronkite and a Ralph Rennick. And he is a consummate professional, and that's why it comes across so beautifully now that he is doing Local 10 World News. And viewers will see that not only is Louis doing this from our studio, from our set, but that we have reporters in Washington, D.C. And by the way, Bill, we already had those reporters. We already had our bureau chief even before the transition. We have had bureaus in Washington, D.C. We've had bureaus and even in Venezuela, where we have always been so focused in our community and the diverse community that it is, that we knew that it's even beyond this peninsula of Florida. It's even beyond South Florida, that people here have connection with people all over the world because we are a great melting pot. So we already had the Washington D.C. Bureau as well as others, but now with respect to Local 10 World News, you will see that our two reporters from there are Washington, D.C. reporters, that they give us access to everything that is happening there in D.C. that affects us here, obviously, locally. We have placed people in different sectors, locally and nationally, even, and even internationally. We have sent our Glenna Milberg, who is also doing Local 10 World News on the weekend. And she has gone to Brazil and reported from there. We have sent one of our other reporters, Christian De La Rosa, to Puerto Rico, and he's reported from there. That is how dedicated we are to really being in tune with our community and what is important to them, the news that's important to them, even if we have to travel outside to bring them what is part of their everyday life. We bring you world news through a local lens, and I'm very proud of that. Our station is very proud of that, and I think viewers will be proud of that as well.
So besides the focus of news, which obviously 93 hours of news that's each week.
That is 93 hours a week. Yes.
Yeah. And so we have other programming we mentioned before, the Wheel of Fortune and so on like that. But what other local programming is going to be happening? So we're Local 10. I know that I didn't get to see it. I missed it, but I saw that it was advertised. There was a Jimmy Buffett memorial special that was on. I know certainly with hurricane season, we're in the middle of it right now. Hopefully nothing bad's going to happen, but you never know down here, right? But what other types of programs can viewers be looking forward to in the near future?
Well, I'll tell you what we've had, what we currently have, and what we've had, meaning that we currently have, and then what's up next. And that is, we have produced, and again, before the transition, because we really want to tap into all areas as much as we possibly can in our community. We produce, and these are produced here in-house, a franchise called our SoFlo franchise. And that's our SoFlo Taste, our SoFlo Home Project, and our SoFlo Health. And so that is original to us. It's local, and it taps into, if I'm the homeowner that wants to see what other design elements others are incorporating here in South Florida or South Florida homes, well, we have that offering for you. We have the cooking show with Michelle Bernstein, SoFlo Taste for you. So we have been doing that for years, even before this transition, and we continue to do it during and then obviously after the transition. You mentioned one of our specials, the Jimmy Buffett special. Not only did we air that special, but we sent one of our reporters to the Keys to report from there and all the activities, again, because we want to be where the people are, where our viewers are. We care about that. So it could have been enough to just air the special. And by the way, we had aired it before. It was an encore presentation, but we sent our reporter there and see what the people were doing in the Keys for Jimmy Buffett, and we captured that. And we also just recently, and depending on when the show airs, but just over the holiday weekend for Labor Day, we aired the Jimmy Buffett, and we also recently aired the celebrating 100 years of both Hollywood and Hialeah. And we had celebrated 100 years of the Freedom Tower and the construction of the Freedom Tower, the renovation of the Freedom Tower. So we are really tapping into the different landmarks and obviously the history of South Florida to propel us and also take our audience in a look forward and a look to the future and what we will be doing. So this is just a beginning. And there is so much more. We are going to be producing more specials. We are going to, we've hired a staff, as I mentioned, that is 50 plus strong. And we have a new reporter for entertainment. We also have our investigative unit, which our viewers have known about. We're going to be looking and covering all those also wholesome, good stories that are happening in our community, the good things that people are doing. So we're very excited, and we're busy. We're doing this. This is a well-oiled machine, and not only producing quantity, but quality.
And that's what we're looking for, because that's what we ask for down here in South Florida. Quantity and quality with everything that we do. We're spoiled.
Absolutely.
Let's face it. We got great weather. We got, a little raining behind you right now, I see. But
Yes. And let me just throw a little plug in there. Speaking about weather, we have the largest team of meteorologists I know here in South Florida, and possibly, and I say possibly, but I believe in the country. So we also hired additional meteorologists because, of course, we have hurricane season and weather is of great interest. And also, Bill, it's important too in this transition to highlight that generally speaking, local news is viewed as more reliable and trustworthy than national news.
Well, I think this is just a really exciting time. While it might have caused some unease and a little bit of worry when it initially happened, I think this has turned out for the best for all of us who live in the South Florida area that rely on Channel 10 and the WPLG for our entertainment and for our news. It's just kind of great. And you got that SoFlo brand going, which is great. I just want to toss out a quick idea to you. Tales from SoFlo. I'm just going to leave it laying there, okay?
Hey, yeah.
And if you need a host, I happen to know a guy who has a lot of Hawaiian shirts. But
We'll love that. We'll love that. I see that.
listen, that's fantastic. We're gonna wrap up here, but just a reminder to everyone. So if you are having trouble finding it still, because I just had a conversation with a coworker the other day who said she's still having trouble finding it, just download the app. That's the easiest thing you can do. Even if you do
Absolutely.
have cable, even if you do have antennas, that's the easiest way to do it. But if you do have cable, it's still Channel 10. Nothing changed
Yeah,
on
I mean,
that.
it just depends on your cable provider and what channel you watched us on in your on cable, and we should be right there.
It's still
And
there, right?
then yeah, over the air, you watch us on antenna. On antenna, we're there, 10.1. We also have our sister stations, 10.2 and 10.3, which are Memorable Entertainment Television and HNI respectively. And then if you streamed and you can't see us yet on streaming, we are working on that. But we have our wonderful Local 10 Plus app that you can download and you can watch us there and be able to watch your favorite newscasts there as well, all our newscasts there. And then if not, you have the Local 10 app that you can download on your phone and you can watch us there. You can see our website, local10.com on the go and view your top stories, your news stories, sports, community, everything. Don't Trash Our Treasure, Mom to Mom, all the wonderful segments that we also have on our news, which is an extension of what our coverage and what we do. It's not just news, but we have all these wonderful things like our environmental advocacy, our animal advocacy, our Mom to Mom with Nicole Perez, and so much more even than I can even remember now because there's just so much. So please, there are myriad ways for your listeners to watch Local 10, and hopefully they love it and they let us know and they give us feedback. We appreciate that.
If anyone has any trouble, they can always reach out to Channel 10. They can reach out. It's local10.com. Is that your website?
Absolutely. And you can send an email, community@local10.com.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or reach out to talesfromsouthflorida@gmail.com. If you're still having trouble, I'll give you a call and I'll walk you through how to find
All
it.
right. Yeah.
So-
Thank you. Thank you, Bill. We
All right.
appreciate you.
Listen, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate you. We appreciate all the work that's being done at WPLG. Everyone, what can I say? Tune in. Mayte Padron. I say thank you so much. This has been delightful. As Ralph Renick used to say, may the good news be yours.
That's right. And thank you so much again for the invitation. It's a pleasure being here with you and with your listeners. I'm honored. I'm honored to have explained this and be part of your wonderful podcast.
Well, that was a lot of great information. Thanks again to Mayte Padron from WPLG Local 10. Do so appreciate you stopping by Tales from South Florida and giving us that information. If you're like me, it just really makes you want to be sure that just as we support local businesses, we want to be sure that we're supporting what I think is right now the biggest local broadcaster in the South Florida region. They're doing some great stuff over there, and I think based on what she was saying, even greater things are going to come. Until we meet again, my friends, again, I remind you, please give us a like or subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment. Remember to visit talesfromsouthflorida.com for all the information, audio podcasts, links to our YouTube channel, a link to our Spotify playlist with new songs added all the time, and just more fun than you can shake a stick at, if that's your idea of a good time. If you're missing the voice of Bill Monty, before our next episode becomes available, you can always jump over and visit me at Bill Monty's Guide for Getting Older, the podcast that's not about being old, but about the journey of getting older. Remember, getting older is not the end. It's just the next step of a grand adventure. And on every adventure, you need a guide, and that's me, Bill Monty. And until we talk again, my friends, be safe, be kind. We'll talk to you later.
Let's take a talk down memory lane, 'cause the stories around here are just insane. Pirates World, the Sporto and Wolfie's do, Palm Beach to Key West, that's where we grew. These are the tales from South Florida for you, with your host Bill Monty.
Does the news cycle make you feel like you're on a tilt-a-whirl of outrage? Feeling like your brain is a political piñata getting whacked 24/7? There's an antidote. Outrage Overload is the podcast where we hit the pause button on the outrage train. We dissect the headlines, peel back the layers of negativity, and explore the science behind why you keep wanting to throw your phone at the wall. Before you lose another brain cell to outrage fatigue, check out the Outrage Overload podcast at outrageoverload.net or wherever you get your podcasts.